Who you starting for, honey boo? Honey. Who you starting for? He's over there messing with the girl boys. She thinks I don't know she's doing that, but she is. Hi, Moo. My love. Did you make a video with Mama? You did? I know you love making videos with Mama, don't you? You do. People don't realize how much you enjoy it so much. I know it. You like showing off, don't you? No. He's a good boy. Honey boo, good boy too? I love you. I'm gonna clean up Mama's bed. I'm like, not really. Lizzie's in there in the bird room on top of the hutches. Sassy Boo is in there on top of his kennel. Macho's still in his house. He was out, and then we put him back because he was being Rudy poop boy. Honey Boo and Moo Moo decided they were going to be good so we could get him out now. I know it. I've been waiting all day. All day waiting for you to come out and see Mama. I misses you. I misses my loves. If they're being rude, which means being mean to the girls, or if they're being mean to each other, or if they're being nasty, they're going through their routine of being nasty. We're just not having that. I showed him a video of the Quill's house, and I'm like, how is it possible that you have a house like, I mean, obviously their house is a little bit bigger than the Quill's house, but they don't even try. But they did a little bit better this morning. Moo is more cleaner than Honey is. Not to say that Honey's dirty, because he keeps himself clean, but he knows where he can see where to walk. Moo Moo can't because he's blind. So for him, it's better for you to have a central specific location. Be nice. You better be nice to him. They've been separated for a bit, so. You better be nice to that baby. She's full of herself over there. She's got four boys looking at her like she's the cat's meow. Those boys think you're cute. Is she cute? Yeah, but she's scary cute, huh? The kind that like the Black Widow type over there. I know. But she's good. She is a good protector, so she's really good about watching out for the birds. And is there something over there? Oh yeah, the boys. I know. That's Dottie. Is that the Velociraptor? Come see you. Her daughter's up in here in the nest box. In that box right there. She's got like 5 eggs up in there. I checked them and candled them. They're still not fertile. She keeps laying them, but there's no fertilization going on. So I just want to make sure. I candle them for only one reason and one reason only. Because I've already candled most of them. Unless she lays a new one. She hasn't got rid of a new one today. So she kept what she had. But they're not fertilized. And so I'm just making sure they're not a toxic bomb going off in our nest, in our rooms. So I did that with Little Bit once. I let her. I thought she was gonna be broody, but it was just me being seeing how long they would last, and we almost got one exploded. Faith actually saved her hiney with that one. She's like, Mom, this one is not good, and I'm like, okay. So we moved it and put it in a bucket, and then broke it in the bucket to see how bad it was. Oh, it was bad. I still remember how bad that was. And we had it broke in a bucket so that it wouldn't get into our room. But we wanted to see how bad it was. It's bad. So now I always do rotation of a week. So I hold them for a week, we dispose, and then I hold it for a week and dispose. I do that with the quails as well. They know exactly where their eggs are being kept. They were interested for probably maybe a week or two, and then that was it. They're good to go. They know where their eggs are. I'm not eating them. I'm not hurting them, doing anything. So they know. So the quail is the same way. And it's so funny because yesterday I turned around and Melody likes to lay her egg in the food bowl, which I think is funny. But anyway, she laid her egg out here right next to me. It was funny. But they're pretty good. I gotta stand up, baby. I need my leg. I need my leg. Thank you. Oops, I just knocked the garbage over. I see that. Thank you for telling me. He's like, ah. That's Tim telling me that there's poo, 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 poo. But can you clean it up, please? Thank you. Before Moon starts freaking out. They've all had lunch. Like I said, everybody's been rotated out. They've all had their bath time. They either have a dry, the quail like water baths, by the way. The boys at least do. So they get a dry bath at night, or in the morning. Generally they get a dry bath in the morning, and they'll get a wet bath at night. And their night is like 2 o'clock in the morning. So 2 o'clock in the morning they get a wet bath, and then they get a dry bath at like 9 or whatever. I start rotating them. One by one on my first break. It doesn't take very long because I'm just basically cleaning their kennels. It takes me literally 10 minutes. And so what I do is I start from the top, put them in the dust bath bucket, and it has a lid with an opening so that they can breathe, obviously. And the dust can kind of settle a little bit, not get too overwhelming in there. But mostly what the lid isn't for is not for the quail, because the quail would stay in there the whole time, and I no problems, and I take them out when they're done. But it's usually the Velociraptor over here that does want to snatch them up and such. So I kind of that's kind of, and we always make sure the birds are safe whenever we're doing anything. So they get transferred by hand. I ask if they're ready to go. Sometimes they refuse, they're eating or whatever, but generally they want to go. So they just pop in my hand, going down into the bucket, the lid goes on, I clean out their kennels. When their kennel's clean, I look and see if they're ready to go. Generally that's my hold up, is sometimes they're not done. Sometimes they are, because like I said, we do this on a daily basis, so it's not like it's a new thing or whatever. And so they were pretty good about knowing how long it's going to take them to do. So I clean out their kennels, get a new liner in there, and then they, So then they get popped in there, and they're all dusty, and then they dust their whole entire living quarters with the dust that's all over their body. And so they dust it. And it has a lot of different herbs, and it's right over there. Let me see if I can zoom in. But it's got herbs and such and all the good stuff. So anyway, they get one done one at a time. And like I said, it only take me about 10 minutes to get it done. They're pretty good. And then I do the girls. The girls all go at one time. So at first I just was putting them in one at a time, and it was taking me a long time because it's just one at a time. But I put 2 in there, and they were fine. They loved it. They love socializing in there. It's a pretty big bucket, so it's not like it's cramped. And then I did 3 and 4, and I'm like, okay, all of them were fine. There was no, they don't really, Darkness and Daryl, my older 2 girls, they fought a little bit. Not fight, but just they didn't socialize with each other. That's what I call fighting. So they kind of had their own little space. Which is fine because they were teenagers. And then after they raised 2 baby sets of babies for me, That got them a little bit closer. So and then their daughters are with them right now. So they got Melody. We got Melody over there and Sparky. And that's Sparky over there. And so they each have a daughter in there with them. So that's kind of cool that happened as well. Obviously, that wasn't planned. You can't plan anything like that. And so we got 4 girls in here, and they do really well with the dust bath. Like I said, it's a pretty big container. They don't mind being close together. So they all dust bath. I clean out their kennel the same way. They have 2 levels. It has a ramp that goes up and down. They have no problems going up and down that ramp. They sometimes are daredevils and they go up and down and everything else, but it's kind of cool. Eventually, the top half is going to be my next baby. My nursery is going to be transferred over to here when they get a little bit bigger. Right now they're too small. So as soon as they get a little bit bigger, they're going to go in that, and then they'll be in there, and then the 4 girls will be down here, and then all those babies will be in there. There's 6 of them now, so 6 little babies will be in there. And then when they start getting to be a little bit more mature and not so flighty, then I'm going to integrate and open up the ramp, and then it will be, the mommies will be in charge of them until they're old enough, and then we'll start separating them at that point. I might sell some pairs. I don't know. I know that's something that Facebook doesn't like to talk about, but that is something in the reality of the situation. I might do pairs. It depends on what I have available. Obviously, over here I have 4 boys. Sissy is a pet, therapy pet. He's not a breeding bird. Any bird that can't breed is a pet. Is a therapy pet. They're all therapy pets because they all are being handled. They're all raised as indoor pets. They're all raised as handled. They're raised around Faith. They're raised around me. They're not just in kennels like you see. They do run around, and they're very. We're working on boundaries right now. Is really good. I don't have to worry about them leaving the house. I can actually open the door and they won't go out. That is kind of thing. I'm not worried about that. All my mature quail are pretty good about that. My birds are as well. They're all trained. But at some point, I'm going to have to break out into either loaning the therapy birds or I don't necessarily sell my birds. They are all just I don't know what the word is. Adopted out, I guess, is the word. So they're not. I don't sell my birds. So Sissy is a potential rehome. You are so nasty. Why would you do that with Mama? Yeah, you lucky I wasn't even looking at you with the camera anyway. I was looking at you, but I wasn't looking at him with the camera. I'm having to do that because I have to look and see what they're doing. I don't want to get in trouble with Facebook and such. So certain things that Facebook doesn't let us show. A lot of different farming places are getting in really big trouble with different platforms because when you have animals, they do things. Especially when they're on. We have live now. And so before, when we could edit and all that stuff, and all of them were like editing like crazy, they were crazy editing. But nowadays we got live, and everybody takes advantage of the fact that live is pretty cool because you can do long videos, you can do a lot of different information. It just can't be structured, and obviously it's live, so there's no editing involved. Unfortunately, when you have animals like I do, it's really difficult to edit it before it happens. Now, I do know most of my birds' behaviors, so I can tell when they're going to go to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty good about editing that out, or not editing it in a sense like you would, but basically making sure you guys don't see stuff like that. It's not so much I'm trying to hide that they're doing it. Obviously, they're doing it, right? But the biggest issue is that I don't want to offend anyone. And so sometimes things like that do offend. And I don't want to offend anyone. So the biggest thing is making sure that I clean up as they go. I do that anyway, but it's real difficult, obviously, when you're on a live because I have one hand at this point. And sometimes I'm holding a bird. Sometimes there's something going on where there's like a medical thing I have to do. So it's not like I just can stop and say, oh, let me go ahead and, clean this up right now. So if they go to the bathroom and I haven't cleaned it up, it's not that it's going to be there for very long. It's just that I am doing something that with my other hand that leaves me no hands at all to do what I usually do, which is clean up. So, and then like I said, it's not have nothing to do with the live. My lives are pretty. I try to make sure that it's pretty accurate. I try to be the same on and off. My birds I can't control what they do or do not do. Sometimes I think they know when the camera's on because obviously I don't talk like this to them. I talk to them like I'm talking to you, but not like in a lecture of tone. So they know the different tones that I have and the different, so they know that I'm talking to people. They know that they're being recorded because that's the voice I use when we're being recorded. So they key into the behaviors of myself as well. So sometimes that makes the bird a little bit naughty, and sometimes that makes the bird not as kind of subdued. That mostly because they don't want to do something on camera that's recorded. I find that the boys are more flamboyant. They like to be on camera a lot. And they also like to make their own opinions, and they like their own interpretations of things. So they're unpredictable, but they do like to act. Moo and Honeyboo are my acting birds. They love to act. They like to do different things. I don't prompt them. I don't tell them what to do. They do improv, which basically is them doing whatever they want to do. The only thing that they get usually is a preview of the song. So if we go through we'll just go through a playlist, and I'll just start playing different songs for a snippets of this and that. If they respond, it's really easy to know if they respond. They either wave their wings like they just did, like when he just demonstrated to you. They'll wave their wings at me like that. They'll start grooming themselves. They'll do different. Like he's showing you all the different ones. There's different things that they do to indicate that they like the song. And so usually okay, there's another one, pointing on the ground. Just making mom look silly, you know that. So yeah, they do a lot of, this is all different behaviors that they do to get attention. Is pointing, waving their wings like, hey mom, I'm talking to you, and that kind of thing. So usually we just go through the playlist of songs, and they'll respond to one, and then I'll play the song so they know what it's about. They want to know the storyline basically, and then after we played the song the first time, then I just play it and record. So I just basically go into Facebook on their reel and push record, and whatever they do, they do. So the only thing I kind of like edit is, like I said, if there's something that Facebook doesn't like being shown, like their bathroom situation, or their sexy time situation, those type. Thanks, honey. Different things like that. That's a feather, by the way. So that's another thing I need to point out, is that all these little dark spots that you're seeing, that's not poo. That is feathers. So they don't necessarily, don't necessarily all the things that you see what that is. Sometimes it's food, sometimes it's this, and sometimes it's something else. Anyway, they do like to act out. They do like to perform. Moo's performing for you right now. This is one of the things he likes to do to perform. He likes to, basically, this is like a mating ritual type thing that they like to do. They're just showing off for the girls and such. And we watch a lot of chicken videos, so I don't know if he does this because he thinks that other people might have chickens. Because see, they used to have a tablet. I miss that tablet so much. But they used to have a tablet, and I would just basically mount it down at their level, on the wall, and then we would just play like a repeat of chicken videos. I love like people chicken coops and such, you know. They love that stuff. The problem is that we would watch nature videos and such, but to be honest, they don't like the human narrator. I just learned to turn it off and turn it down, and then just put the nature video on and repeat or whatever and such, because I don't necessarily know it's over. They'll get all agitated and such and tell me, but they love that tablet. They loved it a lot. So we had a lot of things get damaged by the pests, the rodents around here. Like to chew on every wire and every electrical thing that we have. So they chewed that. They chewed they had like their winter light. They have like I think it's called a blue light. Anyway, it's basically for people with seasonal depression. So I got that for the birds. It was pretty spendy. It took literally the whole entire. We couldn't buy anything that paid. That we allocate $200 every 2 weeks to the care of the animals, and that took it was like almost $300. So it was we had to save up for it, and it took a while. So it took their whole budget, but they loved that light. Oh my gosh. But once again, that was destroyed. It's in there. The light still works. It's just a cord has to be replaced on it. And it's a specialty type item, so it's not like you can just say, oh, I need a cord for this, and open it up and try to put it in there. Because there's stuff in, I don't know anything about that stuff. But anyway, that's upsetting. So, yeah, and that's upsetting. So anyway, here nor there. But they do like to perform and stuff. So that's why I use the audio. Because they like to listen, play, act out, do improv to the music. So you have nasty paws. I'm completely aware of that. He keeps showing me his feet, and I know that. That is nasty. So these bolsters are theirs. They're actually using them for what they're supposed to be for, which is perching on them. Some birds like to perch. Luna likes to perch a lot because he likes to feel like he's in a higher elevation than everybody else. I don't know. He likes to perch on me, and if I'm busy and I have things to do, then he gets very agitated. He has nothing to perch on. So then I got these bolsters. They're usually under their pee blanket. They have two different pee pads. So they have this one that goes on top of my bed sheets, and then we have another one that goes over everything else. And these are washable liners that are on them now. I wish there was something more colorful, but I haven't found any replacement ones. It's really interesting because when they show them being sold, they show them with different colored covers, but you can't purchase the covers. So I don't know. I guess you could get them custom, make them yourself if you were good at that stuff, but I physically can't do anything like that anymore. Ah, don't you dare. Oh, you bad boy. Not a bad boy because he bent the bathroom. He did it because he knew I was. He looked around and he knew I was filming. But like I said, I know that when they go to the bathroom, I know what they're gonna do. The quails, when they go potty, it's so freaking hilarious because what they do is this is how the quails go to the bathroom. Back step, poo. Every single time. Back step, poo. Now this is what the chickens do. They can be roosting or whatever. They'll do a squat, poo. They all do a little squat. And it's very hard to tell that what they're doing. Because a lot of times people don't realize is that because their knees are backwards, when they squat, A lot of I see videos is where I see birds walking around, because they can walk around in a squat position. So they have kind of two different heights. They got a low to the ground walking height, and then a fully extended walking height. So I've determined that the difference between the two is where they are in the hierarchy of the chicken world. And so if you're a sub, you're not allowed to stand full height. If you're not a sub and you're like a higher up in the chain of command or whatever, then you get to stand up all the way. So in our world, in our environment, it took me a long time to convince Moon to stand up, because he always was in a crouch all the time. And so it took me a long time to get him to stand up straight. And Honeyboo still took a while to as well, but not. When he hit mature adulthood, he stood up straight. When he hit adulthood, he did not. So, and they don't hit adulthood till they're 2 years old. So they're babies a long time. They're children a long time. And so a lot of people think that, oh, they're silky birds. They turn 6 weeks. We'll just pop them out there. Well, those are babies that you're popping out there. They are not adults. And they, like I said, they don't become adults, physically adults and mentally, until they're like 2. So they're not adults. And so, yes, the jungle fowl do mature very quick and fast like that. And yes, you can probably do, and the Coochins are like that too. They matured very quickly. Coochins, New England Bantam, the white ants, all of those type of birds I've had. I've had other different, the jungle fowl, the what we call the egg and meat eater type birds. Those ones are traditional meat eater and egg birds. All grow very fast and develop very, very, very quick. So yes, they can be like considered adults at that age. Not 6 weeks, but you know what I'm saying, they're like teenagers or whatever. But the silkies are not like that. So when you're taking, once again, if you're taking, and a lot of times they keep saying, don't put those birds out there, they're not going to make it, and then it's like, oh, why are they getting picked on? I'm like, because they're babies. You're sending babies in there with raptors. They're not going to do, and then they don't speak the same language. It took the silkies a long time to learn the language of these other birds. The other ones knew, all the Coochins, like I said, all those type of birds, all of them knew what had that same language. The silkies are a very, very ancient breed, and they are not jungle birds. They don't live in the jungle. They were never raised in the jungle, and they don't speak jungle. And so my silky birds, like I said, they're only a month apart from the oldest jungle birds I have. And they're older by a whole year than my Coochins over there. And so they are, technically they became adults later than my Coochins did. Let me put it that way. My Coochin girls were laying eggs, and these 2 boys were still teenagers in their eyes. They didn't even recognize them as adults, because they aren't. That's why, like I said, that's why, even though they start laying eggs, and they lay eggs like, I think it's 8 months or 9 months, the girls will start laying eggs, but that's when they start hitting teenagers, right? That's just like our own kids. Well, you're not going to expect a 12-year-old to be going out there and having a date with a 32-year-old man, right? That's just not going to happen. Why would you do that to your birds? And so once again, the silky, just because they're laying eggs, the silky's development is very slow, slower than, like I said, the jungle birds. So yes, my Coochin girls and my little bit were all physically able to start laying eggs, and they also were at that point somewhat mature, just beginning to mature, but just basically mature enough to make their decisions. No, you're not. You're going to come out of here if you're going to start that crying up again. But the silkies mature slow. And so if you imagine it from a perspective, if, for example, If it takes them 2 years to be mature, and that's my experience with these boys, it takes them 2 years to mature. Then even though the girl's having babies at eggs at 8 months, that doesn't mean that she's able to be handling, what's going on. Now, what I'm saying is, I don't. It's not so much that I'm saying that you can't take them outside and put them with your other birds, and at a certain point, I don't believe in separating my birds anyway. So my birds were all raised together, but I also am supervising them as well. They're not just running around amok. They are being supervised by either isolating them, putting them in separate kennels, but they're still in the same area. They still can talk to each other and stuff. What are you doing? You see, what's your mom? Yeah? What's your little dirty paws? All over Mama's shirt. Somebody's here? Oh, I gotta go. Somebody's here, apparently. Bye.